Welcome to episode 85 of the Guardian 1 podcast. We record live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I'm joined by Crimson Warlock.
Hey guys, what's up?
Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
Sharks.
Iron Banner!
And Gray.
Good evening, everyone.
We're going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
Hello, Guardians. Thank you for listening in on the podcast, however it is that you are choosing to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter, @G1Net. That's G, the number 1, N-E-T. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. If you want to send us an email, you can send it to feedback@guardian1.net. If you do a search on budget.net for Guardian 1, you'll find our forums group, which we also use for both comments and feedback. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the show live, you can always search for the Guardian 1 podcast on iTunes, as well as the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast, Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at GuardiansofD and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/GuardiansofD. Other podcasts that are part of the Guardian Radio Network include previous episodes of TTL Party Chat and Robust Radio. There's also a podcast called Ghost and Echoes, which contains a bit of fan fiction and audio versions of the Grimoire cards found within Destiny. That's it for housekeeping. I'll see you again soon.
You know, every time he finishes when he says, "I'll see you again soon," I always think like, "Oh, is this like a hint? You know, like is this him saying that maybe one day soon he'll be back on the show?" But who knows? Who knows? Very special day today. It is Mark Turcotte's birthday. The host of Guardian Radio. Very cool guy, very good at what he does. Has a very great radio voice. Has a really good control over his show. Like I really admire what he does and the way he does it. Additionally, it is my daughter Lucy's birthday today. She's turning 4, so it's not the same exact birthday, but how cool is that? I think it's very cool. I want to start off this conversation. It seems like every week there's something that like we just barely get to squeak out, and that prevents me from talking about it for as long as I like, which would be more than 30 seconds. And last week it was Craig Hargrove's project. Craig was a regular on Guardian Radio, and one of the things I loved most about Guardian Radio was the fact that like the people on it are legit. Like each person on it brings something very special to the table. And Craig's was that he was He's like a real scientist. He's a very smart individual, very cool individual, and he's been busy on this Luna map. It's spelled Lunah, but it's pronounced Luna, as the H is silent. And basically, what it is, it's a small satellite designed to sense the presence of hydrogen in craters and other areas on the moon. And this is fantastic. I can't imagine anything being cooler for somebody who does this, and he is it. He's the reason that this is happening, and I'm very proud of him. And there was some shirts on sale that I wanted to make sure that we spoke about really quickly. I just wanted to make sure that this got out to our listeners, because I don't know. I think that this is excellent, and I want him to succeed in what he is doing. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the results are. What is it? Is there hydrogen there? Who knows? Information is power, and knowing more about our own solar system will uncover. Who knows? Who knows what it'll uncover? But I don't know. I think it's very exciting, and it's crazy, because I want to say that I'm proud of him. I want to contact him and be like, man, I am so proud of you, but that doesn't really make sense. Uh, I'm not a parent or somebody. What am I trying to say? What should I say to him? Because what I want to say is I'm proud of you, but that doesn't make sense contextually speaking. That doesn't make any sense. Gray, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think pride is a big part of it. But I think also just somebody who's going above and beyond and kind of furthering something that we all take an interest in, right? We play Destiny because we like the idea of space travel and furthering our information of what we know about our solar system. And here's Craig, who enjoys this game, but he's actually making a life of it too, and kind of helping pave the way for the future that we kind of pretend to live in when we play the game.
Right. That's a really great way of putting it. Agrios, you had something to say?
Well, perhaps would it be more appropriate to say you're proud he's part of our community than proud of him specifically?
That's not bad. That's not bad, but I still think
that's something you have the right to take pride in. You're saying, who am I to him to tell him that I'm proud of him about something? Well,
yeah.
I think what you're saying is you're proud he's part of our community. You're proud that he's on Guardian Radio, that he's interested in the community, interacts with the community, and he's a fan of Destiny, just like us. And look, he's out there, doing these things to, further us out into space to learn these things about it, pushing us in the direction of Destiny almost. So to have someone like him as a Destiny player and contributing to the creative aspect of our community as well is definitely something to be proud of.
That's a really good that is a really good way of putting it. But while you were talking, I realized what I really mean. Not that you're wrong, Agrios, and for those watching at home, the shirt is on the screen right now. What on the back it says the H is silent. That's hilarious. It's a really cool shirt with a cool mission patch. What I really want to say to him is, you kick ass, Craig. That's what I want to say to him, but I wanted it to be a little bit more refined than that, because
less
that's
praise, more encouragement, maybe.
Maybe I was thinking less crude. You kick ass is kind of crude.
Well, I think a good way to word it would be that Craig inspires all of us in some way. I mean, don't get me wrong. Craig, I think, is probably one of the nerdiest Guardians out there. I mean, he spent his time in the beta looking at rocks in the game, right? But the fact that he does that, shows his passion and his love for what he does in the real world. But because of how hardcore he is in that aspect, it inspires all of us. I think you feel edified, and you want to you wish you were maybe that passionate in some things, and so you look up to him for that. And I think a lot of us do in some ways. I certainly do. I mean, I wish I could find something in the real world. I find video games very inspiring, but I haven't quite found that one thing yet in the real world that inspires me as much as Craig's occupation and his hobby, and kind of two things in one day for him.
Man, that's really a good way of putting it, Crimson. I like that a lot. And you're totally right. I am inspired, and I think that while I'm not worried about whether or not I have that much passion for something, I think that I would be much more concerned or much more focused on whether or not I would be that successful. Because I would say that no matter what he finds there, let's say that let's say that his hypothesis is wrong. There is nothing in those areas. It's still going to be something that we figured that out. It's still going to be something that, okay, well, we looked there for this and there was none. What does that say? He's pushing forward with the formula, with answers. And so, yeah, I think that's really another great way of putting this. Sharks, did you have something you wanted to add to this?
Well, just that it's exciting, and I think that would be how I would put it to him. I go, I not only am I excited for it, but I'm excited for him, and it's just cool to see new stuff like that and find new things out there.
Yeah, agreed. Very much agreed. Okay. Anybody else on this? Or moving on? Great. Moving on. Craig, you kick ass. I'm proud of you. You inspire us. All right. Destiny. Not Overwatch. Destiny. So many people in the community talking about Overwatch right now. And what a gross game. Like, unless they change the controls completely, what a gross game. I do
change the controls completely.
The controls were shit. It's like they didn't do anything with the controls. Left goes left, right goes right, jump is jump. Like, there is no kickback from the weapons. It just is crap. The whole thing is crap. But I
disagree. I think it's a lot of fun.
I did want to put it out there for the people in our community who are going to be playing. Those of us who are playing the game, I think it would be nice for those people to know what's going on. So Crimson Warlock, are you playing Overwatch?
I cannot. I did pre-order it with the hopes that my little putt Dell Inspiron would be able to make it. But XCOM 2, I think, was the last game of 2016 that my laptop will be able to play. So I can't play it on PC, which is what I play most Blizzard games on, until I upgrade and get like a big boy PC. So not playing Overwatch.
Got it. Jez, are you playing Overwatch?
I'm playing Doom.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I seen.
Very solid. I'm not sure if the multiplayer is, but I'm probably not going to bother with that.
One of the people that I follow, part of this Destiny community, Miss Curry, she is playing a ton of Doom, and she's really enjoying it. She's always posting screenshots of her as top spiel. And I don't know, it looks like a lot of fun. Lots of kids in my house, so not really going to be able to play that until they grow up and move out. But I'm glad you're having a good time. Agrios, you say that you are playing Overwatch and you're enjoying it.
I wish I were playing it right now. I've had a lot of extra financial expenditures, as well as plenty of games that need my attention still currently, so I did not pick it up. I mean, another reason is that, for the most part, nobody else I know and play with on a regular basis picked it up. Like, not you or Sharks or anybody that I regularly game with. So I didn't end up picking it up. But I thoroughly enjoyed my time with the beta. I rather liked how it was completely contrast different from, Destiny or Call of Duty or something. I like the creativeness and how different every single character plays. And I like that it was maybe a lighter, more arcadey shooter. Like, I like Team Fortress when it was out. And, I mean, it has a very Team Fortress kind of feel to it.
So my initial and overall feel for the game is that it sucks and is totally horrible. I do want to say though that many months ago there was like a trailer released where these kids were in this museum and then all hell breaks loose between good guys and bad guys in that museum, and I was really excited about it. Like I enjoy the fact that the big tanky characters are gigantic, and that the little ninja characters are very small. Like I appreciate Destiny in that is, like no matter which character you choose, they're all roughly the same size. You are not necessarily squeaking your way out of something by playing a hunter over a titan. They're roughly the same size. And I really enjoy the Team Fortress 2 aspects that show up in this Overwatch, but the controls actually made me sick to my stomach.
I still don't understand what exactly your problem was with them.
There just wasn't anything to chew on. There was no difference between a little bit pushing forward and a lot pushing forward. Like it just was jerky and gross. Like
because it's super twitchy.
Yeah, super twitchy.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
like
especially if you play like Tracer.
You know what? That might have also had something to do with it too. But it's like in Destiny, when you press left, let's just say you press all the way to the left, there's like a buildup. Like I would love to see the algorithm that happens, because after you hold it in a certain direction for just a tiny bit, you're like moving at that speed, but there was like a buildup to it. There wasn't just this, and now you're moving as fast as you can in this direction, and now you're moving as fast as you can in this direction. I feel like there's something to chew on. There's a learning curve.
I think that might be a little bit because on PC, the worst thing you can put into a game is mouse acceleration, and I think it's translated over as that.
What was it? Motion acceleration?
Mouse acceleration.
Mouse acceleration.
I'm unfamiliar with this concept.
Basically, your mouse, when you move it, moves a little bit, but if you move it more, it like accelerates faster.
Okay.
Until you're spinning at full speed. However, in most games, you want it to move exactly as far as you move the mouse. You don't want any type of like logarithmic scale to deal with.
Like, to put it in simple terms to someone who doesn't game, like if you have your little pointer on your Windows screen and you move your mouse real slowly across the screen, it pretty much moves the same rate as your mouse is. But if you move your mouse, and you'll actually make it the whole way across your pad, which is smaller than your screen, and have to go back to the other side of your pad to keep going. But if you just move your cursor fast, you'll dart the whole way to the other side of the screen in just like an inch on that mouse pad.
Got it.
Well, it's the same sort of idea being applied to turning characters.
Yeah, it just felt like, I don't know, my brain, it's the same feeling I get when I'm on a roller coaster and I haven't taken Dramamine, or if I'm in a car and I'm not paying attention to the road. Like I can sit in a car no problem, but if I'm not watching the road, like I can't read or play video games. Like I have to be watching the road so that my brain sees the same thing that's actually happening. It's a bummer, but yeah, it actually physically made me sick to my stomach to play Overwatch. And Sharks, are you playing Overwatch?
Nope. When would I have time to play any other game than Destiny? Come on, get real.
Thank you for being on the show, Sharks. Gray, are you playing Overwatch?
No, I'm just playing the game of real life this week. But I played, I played the beta, and it was fine, but I wasn't wowed by it. It didn't pull me in. It was a lot like Team Fortress, and I played a little bit of Team Fortress, but I never really got into it. So I kind of went in a little bit biased, maybe against it, but it just didn't. It didn't grab me enough that I'd be willing to drop $60 day one for the game, and I doubt that I'm actually going to buy it long term. I was a little surprised on the move of K2 though to take Battleborn and drop the price by 20 some odd bucks and do that the same day that it was released. I think that they've been a little bit better in terms of their strategy. It's actually enough that I've considered looking into getting Battleborn. I know they're completely different games, but that's probably the direction I'm going to go.
Yeah, I got it. All right, so there you have it, listeners. None of us are playing it, but if any of us was, it would be Agrios.
So,
Well, I don't know. It would be Crimson too. Crimson actually bought it. He just can't run it on his PC.
Yeah, it's on the shelf until I get a better PC.
Man, that's a bummer. Why didn't you just buy it on PlayStation?
Because my little brother and some other friends got it on PC.
Oh.
I figured it would run decently well, like better than something like XCOM, because it seems to be a lot more scalable than most games. Did you try during the alpha?
Yeah.
Or beta?
No, I wasn't able to. I was hoping I could squeak by on the minimum settings, but I can't. But I can play XCOM 2 on the minimum settings if I'm really patient with the lag. I mean, my I feel like my laptop's about to have a catastrophic meltdown every time I play it, so I don't even play XCOM very often. But can't run Overwatch.
Crazy.
Also, Remy, I'm pretty sure you're not going to like the next generation of consoles.
Oh, yeah? I'm listening.
Because they all seem to be going towards a more VR-centric focus.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just have to put some stock in, buy some stock in Dramamine,
So I have...
Isn't there something weird you can put behind your ear or something to help with that?
If there is...
Scopolamine patches? Says the resident pharmacist on the podcast.
Could be
sessions of kind of building up a tolerance to the effects of it. I have to sit. I can't sit right now. I haven't played it for a while. I couldn't do 20 minutes in it without getting queasy. But if I do that consistently, I can get to some larger gaming.
I have this past week, and I have an Oculus brand new consumer version sitting in my living room in the box, but not a computer to run it.
Well, we're gonna fix that, Agrios. But as far as the motion sickness thing, it's something else. I mean, it's worse than a roller coaster. And really, for me, I'm somebody who doesn't get motion sick typically. It takes routine sessions of kind of building up a tolerance to the effects of it. I have to sit. I can't sit right now. I haven't played it for a while. I couldn't do 20 minutes in it without getting queasy. But if I do that consistently, I can get to some larger gaming sessions. I would play Elite Dangerous with it for hours, which was pretty awesome. But it just takes kind of building up a tolerance to it.
See,
yeah, that doesn't sound like fun at all.
I only know about motion sickness patches because this is a fishing community that I lived in, and a lot of people need that for boats for some reason. Don't know why.
It's exactly what that guy said in that video.
Just keep a bucket by your desk. You won't see it because your eyes are covered, but
it's a new weight loss system.
So yeah, I'm excited to I'm excited for the future, Jez. I think that what I'm banking on is that I'll be safe for a little bit longer because the price hasn't yet hit. Here is where everybody's going to go yet.
It's not going to go down anytime soon. They're all pretty much the same price point at this point. I mean, you might look at it on the surface, it might look like the Rift is cheaper, but it's only because their $150 to $200 separate touch controllers aren't out bundled with the original yet. Once you price them in, the Vive and the Oculus are the exact same price. And I feel like they're really pushing that all the way down as far as they can to make sure this gets adopted as a technology. So I don't really expect to drop anytime soon.
They're also pushing, if you don't want to suffer this large increase in price, just wait because it's going to come down. So I
don't really feel like it is. I don't know.
I'll find the quote, but I think someone high up in the Vive basically said, yeah, wait 2 years.
But then you got to wait 2 years, man. This is awesome. I recommend. See, if you're interested in getting it and you go out and try it, that 2 years is going to suddenly seem like a really, really long time because it's really, really awesome, and it's one of those things that nobody can possibly describe to you. Like the way that your hands move in the game and the way that the screen responds to you looking around on such a perfect, natural, one-to-one thing. It's just indescribable.
So, since this is a Destiny-themed podcast, I'm kind of wondering, what do you guys think somewhere down this 10-year plan with Bungie, do you think there'll be a place for VR in Destiny?
I think there's a place for VR everywhere and in everything, and it should have happened yesterday.
I think Destiny might be a little bit too fast.
What do you mean?
Running around jumping like a hunter, you're gonna get sick.
Oh,
yeah, I agree with that, but I want to do it.
I mean, they were talking about doing Mirror's Edge in VR, and that's like the absolute worst thing to give to someone.
Oh, all the flips and stuff.
First things I thought of, like, wouldn't this be amazing? Sliding down the side of a building in VR and stuff like that. Oh, it's amazing. It is.
I think more along the lines of, do you really want to do tumbles while also looking down 5 to 50 stories?
I do.
You know, I don't know how that would work exactly. Like, if you are supposed to look in the direction that your character is looking, you know, like, that would be so much turning of your head. Like, that would be...
No, your character looks where you are looking. So in reality, if you held your head still, your character would be doing the flips, but keep turning their head like a ballerina does to keep looking at the same point on stage.
Well, no. If you're spinning around, you wouldn't be spinning around in real life because there's no way you would get a setup large enough to do anything like parkour. But you probably would have to have it so that your movement and your like all your grabbing and stuff is on the controller, and all you do is look.
Okay, so when I played, depending on what you're doing, like, if you're going to actually walk forward, like, more than a step or two, you'd have to have the controller add to your movements. But, like, so here, when I went and tested the HTC Vive, now, mind you, this would be a stationary demo, because there's no point in this game did I have to go anywhere other than stand on this pad. I was standing on this, like, futuristic landing pad looking down over a futuristic city, and these drones were flying up over the edge for me to, like, shoot at, and I could get a shield or a gun in each hand. And it knew in this 12 by 12 area where I was walking around. Now, part of the point of this game is the drones come up and then they split and go in different directions, and you literally, to, like, 180 degrees from one another, to the left, to the right, you have to, like, be blocking laser blasts with a shield while you're looking the other direction, shooting the drones behind you. So, like, as I moved around in this area, I could sit on the floor, jump up in the air, run 12 feet this way, run 12 feet that way, and the whole time, if I held my head looking directly at the one drone, that's where my character's head stayed focused, no matter what else my character in the game was doing based upon my movements.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. But yeah, I won't be picking it up anytime soon. Motion sickness, price, children.
I highly recommend everybody go try it out. If you look up online, select GameStops and Microsoft stores are doing live Vive demos, and select Best Buy locations are doing live Oculus demos. The Vive demo is much, much more interactive, sort of what you'll be using it for experience, and the Oculus is more of sort of a little guided tour where you get to try out the Climb video game at the end. The Vive is definitely the one that'll wow you more if you, not because of the product, but because of the demo.
Got it. Thank you very much, Agrios. Moving on, unless anyone else has anything to add to this. All right, final words. Gray, I'm really stoked that you have that. Agrios, I'm really stoked that you have that. And now I understand where the actual interest in getting a new computer has come from. because your participation in this podcast has been just fine through your mobile. And I haven't heard or seen you have any real interest in upgrading your setup. And then one day it was like you were talking about it as if it was like it was going to happen one day. And I was like, well, I wonder where this came from. You know, like I wonder, like, because no one's pressuring you to upgrade. You know, this podcast at some point in the future will feature live video feeds of each of us. You know, I watch podcasts that have that in their video. And I think that that's a really cool way of interacting with your audience, it's very visceral as far as seeing the person talk and seeing their reactions, their physical reactions. I think that that's really cool. And at some point, this podcast will be that. But like, I'm not interested in pushing anybody to, you don't have money for this. That's fine. We'll just do it whenever it happens. It's not a big deal. But all of a sudden, Agrios, you were like, looking at specs for reals, and I didn't realize what it was until right now. You said that was sitting in your room or in your living room.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, okay, there it is.
Just sitting there taunting me.
Right.
See, that's the problem is that I have a laptop that, aside from high-end gaming and Skype interactivity, for whatever reason, Skype doesn't like it anymore. It works 100% for everything else I could possibly ever need it to work for, whether I'm doing art stuff or whatever. So between that, and everything else, there's no real incentive for me to upgrade.
I see what you're saying. I just want to point out to everybody that Mystic Rose is going crazy in chat about this, about this virtual reality. She totally agrees with you, Agrios. She says she'll chance it, and she's just really excited. And now she's looking for more details on these live demos, saying that she does have a long weekend. So maybe you could get her that information to make sure that she, if she has the opportunity, she can go check it out and then come back next week and tell us what she thinks about it.
I will post some links in chat as we go along here.
Awesome.
Not gonna lie, I was going to go to one when I was at PAX last year, but when I went there, they were outside of the convention and they were just closed for some reason on like Saturday. Apparently, they only worked from like 8 to 12.
Crazy.
Even if you have to drive 2 hours from your house or more to go to one of these stores to do these 10-minute demos, it's worth it. You should go do it if you're at all even slightly interested.
No offense, but based on my location, it would probably be closer to a 12 to 24-hour drive.
Dang.
Do it.
Welcome to Canada.
Wait, 24 hours? Wow. Like, how long does it take you to get to, like, say, the U.S. border from where you're at?
Technically, probably closer to 2 hours. But okay, well, that's also taking a ferry to go across the borders. No,
from southern Pennsylvania, it only took me like 6 hours to get to Niagara Falls. Now I know you're way over off on some peninsula, but
here, let me see something.
Let him see something.
I'll get back to you in a couple seconds.
All right.
So how long was your demo, Agrios, when you went in to try it out? How long did you get to play with it?
Well, the Oculus demo, they say allow 15 minutes, but the first 5 minutes is them explaining things and answering your questions about the Oculus and stuff like that. And then it's a 10-minute walkthrough. They literally, you're standing in front of a computer, just a few feet in front of the computer. There is designed mainly just to give you a short showcase of how the technology works. It interacts with you through the first part of the demo, strictly through your head moving around the Oculus. You don't control anything with any form of controllers or whatever. It's just you observing these environments in free form. Then they do it pretty entertainingly. It changes from scene to scene, and they use that to their advantage to put you in some interesting circumstances. It really makes you feel like you're there. Like, I've done a lot of work up at heights, but usually with, harnesses and things, I'm pretty secure. I'm comfortable if I have something to hold on to. But if I'm just on the edge of like something without a railing, really, really high up, I have a bit of a fear of heights in that situation. And one of the particular scenes puts you in a spot like that, and I was frozen. Like, it was literally difficult for me to move my limbs standing there. Is how like real it felt.
Awesome. That sounds great.
So I looked a little bit on the internet, and for me to get to Toronto, it's an 18-hour drive. For me to get to Boston, it's a 10-hour drive.
That's horrible. I'm sure there's one between you and Boston, so you could probably get to one in about like 6-7 hours.
Where else do you think would be in Boston? Bangor?
Yeah, maybe. There's got to be some in some major cities between, because you got to go through like 3 other states before you even get to Massachusetts.
Not very many. There's
what? Either Rhode Island or Connecticut or
Maine,
whatever.
New
What's
Hampshire,
Maine?
and Mass.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Alrighty. let us move this conversation along. Destiny. Let's talk about Destiny. Iron Banner. Who's playing Iron Banner? Gray, are you playing Iron Banner? I know you said that you're playing the game of life this week, but is there any Iron Banner in your future?
Yeah, I'm hoping that I can do it Monday night. It's going to be pretty much my only shot because this ghost is going to the Indy 500 after the podcast. We're getting in the car and leaving, so I'm actually going to be offline for quite a while. But Monday when we get back, I hope to play. I wasn't expecting it to drop. I was really surprised when they released it for this week.
Gotcha. Indy 500. That sounds like a lot of fun. I just watched a video that said this snail won the Indy 5000, and that's pretty cool too. Sharks, will you be playing Iron Banner this week?
Yep. Been playing since they released it. I love Iron Banner. I play too much of it.
Have you got anything good?
I not getting what I want, and what I want is just tier 12 stuff. But I mean, I'm getting lots of 335 gear, so yeah, I guess so. I mean, at this point, I don't really care what I get. I'm just doing it to have fun. So
that was my next question. As the person who plays the most Destiny on this podcast, I like for myself, I don't play anywhere near enough Destiny. Like, no, not as much as I want to, not as much as I should be playing. And so for when I play, it's like all of my characters are not to 335 yet. Like the highest I've got is 334 on the PlayStation and 333 on the Xbox. And so I still have like carrots to chase. But you've already surpassed all of that. So you are doing it just for fun?
yeah, for the most part. I mean, I have a couple carrots to chase, but not through Iron. Well, actually, I guess Iron Banner can kind of help. I'm leveling my last my last faction for all three characters to 25. I could cheat and do it really fast. I've got enough motes in the vault, but you know me and spending stuff, so I don't want to eat through all of that. But once I hit that, then the only thing I have left to do is play a couple doubles matches and a couple Roma matches, and then like literally I won't have anything to shoot for anymore. So yeah, I'm just doing it for fun.
How many emotes do you have in the bank?
Just under 4,000. I ate up some last week. I didn't want to wait. I was looking for a certain piece of gear, so I leveled something twice. So I think I've got like 3,850 or something like that.
It's pretty impressive.
I've got a question for you. Do you often play RPGs? Or did you in the past?
Well, I mean, I did. What I
want to know.
No judgment here, Sharks. No judgment here. Just lay it all out. It's cool.
What I want to know is, are you the type of person that goes into the final boss with 99 high potions and doesn't spend a single one?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
It's like Dado. We're playing D&D and he doesn't use any of his abilities because he might need to use them later.
Yep. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I mean, him and we would get along great in games like that. Yeah, for sure.
You know what? I used to be that way. I used to be that guy. And I finished too many games with all of this awesome equipment and things that I've never used and never will ever use. And one day it was like, I don't know, like a midlife crisis sort of breakdown situation. Maybe not that extreme, but and now I just blow shit in games. I'm very, very resourceful. I only, use things effectively, and I still gather and hoard mass quantities of things. But I'm also totally willing to blow through them when given the opportunity.
Yeah, Bloodborne broke that one for me. I used to hoard all of my consumables all the time. After playing Bloodborne, I was like, Maybe I should start using these because they actually do benefit your character a lot than sit in your inventory.
And I think it was the fun factor. It was the missed out fun, as in, you know what? I have these certain grenades or something that I never even killed a dude with because they're so rare, and I missed out on the fun of using them at a perfect opportunity that I probably missed a dozen times. So it was really that, and I think it may have even been Fallout 3 that broke me of that. But
interesting. Yeah, I still hold on to all of my consumables as well. This actually even bleeds over into my super, even just my super. I know that we talked about this previously, and the idea of the recharge, you could be recharging it. It's instead of wasting that time like I do and just holding on to it. There's been matches in PvP where I just haven't even used my super. Like I just
maybe you should main Warlock. That's what they're good for.
Nah, you should spam your super every chance you get. That's also one of my new things I've been doing. I was working on my new Monarchy level rank 25 quest for my Titan to get his exotic mark or whatnot. And I was having a lot of fun in the strike playlists being a orb generator. And when I got a team that caught on to what I was doing, like, oh my god, this guy is making an insane amount of orbs, they just would start spamming their supers. And from that point on, we would just super everything on the map the whole way through the boss.
See, what broke me of that is playing like World of Warcraft, because they have so many different cooldowns that you're like, well, I want to really use all these cooldowns just to, if I ever get into a pinch. And then it works out that it's a lot more survivability if you just like use your cooldowns as they come up, so that you're always using your cooldowns.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you use it more often.
I want to use my super. I'm just waiting for that right moment. I don't want to waste it on just one person. Although I have before. I have before. Okay, Sharks, you were saying that you are chasing tier 12 items. Is there a way for you to know right off the bat that you've picked one up, or is there a calculation that you need to do in order to check?
Tower Ghost. Tower Ghost shows it, highlights it, and they actually work out the exact percentage that it's going to be when it's maxed out 335. In fact, that's going to be part of my shout out. I might as well do it now as far as that goes. If anybody in chat or if you're listening to this podcast, if you haven't tried Tower Ghost, go and try it. I know that people have complained about, like stability problems and stuff like that. And you get that with any kind of app. But I haven't noticed it running it on my stuff. It's a great system if you are chasing tier 12. I mean, it gives you a lot of other information too, but I mean that's all I've been using it for. I mean, it literally, the second you get something, all you do is refresh it, and it will tell you exactly if it's what you're looking for.
And Tower Ghost is a great way of doing things. There's also a way you can just simply do it manually. You'd simply need a chart showing that at 335, this is the minimum number you need for tier 12, which is easy to find online. And then you want to take the light divided by the current, take the base stat, one of the base stats, divide it by the lowest base stat if you want to see if both stats at once are at least tier 12. So you take your lowest base stat on the item, divide that by its current light, multiply it by 335, and compare it to the chart to see if it's higher or not.
Got it. And this Tower Ghost, this is an app or this is a website?
Well, I mean, it's a website that they have an app on the App Store right, that you just download, and it's got all kinds of, I mean, it's been around for a long time. It was originally used for, it was kind of like DIM, as far as transferring stuff back and forth. And I mean, like, I love those third person apps that are out there for different things. I've stopped using a lot of them. Like Dim's an awesome thing to use as far as transferring stuff. But Bungie has seen all these things that people have been doing in the community, and they've implemented a lot of that into their own apps. So I mean, for transferring stuff, I don't bother anymore. I just turn on my phone and use that. But I didn't want to sit there. I mean, especially with the amount of gear and stuff that I had in the vault that I was sitting on, wanting to go through and find out if it was tier 12. I didn't want to sit there and waste my time, doing all the mathematical equations. So I waited and waited. And then I eventually I went through and I was doing a little bit of it. And I was like, I know that there's apps out there that are doing it. And I went and I read all the reviews that people were saying, and everybody's saying, Tower Ghost is definitely the way to go. And I downloaded it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just, it's so simple. It's so simple to do. So yeah, I mean, it makes your life really easy. Just go and look up Tower Ghost and download it, try it. And then if you don't like that, there's other ones out there too. I'm quote unquote promoting that one just because that's the one I've been using all week. But yeah, I mean, definitely if you're looking for tier 12 and you want an easy life, there are definitely apps out there that will help you with it. And probably eventually Bungie will do the same with theirs.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, tier 12 is it's not something that's totally on my radar just yet. I've not gotten the vault size down to a to a place where I can reliably start trying to pull in different sets, for different things. But
what you do need to, if you think you want to do this in the future, what I'm going to recommend is that you start doing now is get either Tower Ghost or, like I said, write down that equation and get that little chart. And that way, when you get purple gear that legendary gear that you don't necessarily want for any other specific reason, you can real quick compare it just to see if it qualifies as tier 12 or not. So if you should try to make room to save that one piece or not, if it's a delete or not.
That's a good idea. Thank you, Agrios. Okay, Agrios, are you playing Iron Banner?
I have not yet. I haven't been feeling very well, and yesterday I did not get to follow the stuff as it came out, and was not even aware until this morning that Iron Banner had been unleashed. Crazy. And didn't have a chance to play it at all today, and I'm going to be gone at least 2 of the next day, so I don't know how much I'll really be getting done. As a note, though, based on our current discussion about the tier 12 gear, the Titan chest piece being offered, one of the Titan chest pieces being offered by Saladin, is an actual tier 12 chest piece that everybody can just walk up and buy.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I didn't see anything that really caught my eye like that. The sidearm was probably the biggest thing that I'd want. I really like that roll on it, and that actually matches the roll that I have on this other sidearm that Spanky really liked, and he's got a pretty good eye for those kinds of things. And so, if I was going to play, it would be to try and pick that up. And also the random drops. So I have a question in case anyone here is able to answer this. I know that any piece of gear that is up for grabs can drop at any level. Like, they're no longer sectioning it off and you got a level 5 drop and you're not going to get it because you're not rank 5 yet. Do you know if your odds of getting gear dropped is higher than if you're 0, or is it just the same no matter what? It's all RNG.
It's all RNG. It's in fact, there is somebody in the community that that every single Iron Banner he goes through and he writes down exactly his drop rate. And I have been doing that this Iron Banner to see what the drop rate is. For myself, for teammates, for winning, for losing, and all that stuff. And so far, the percentages, it is just literal RNG. It doesn't make a difference whether it's win, loss, if you're in a team or if you're not in a team. what rank you are. Doesn't matter at all.
Got it. That's
I believe.
Go on.
I believe the Guardian that has been doing this and posting it to the subreddit it's Fitzy. To give him credit,
yeah, you're right. That's who it was. I couldn't remember his name. Yeah, and he's badass for doing it. You know, he's been doing it for a long time. He was on. I think he was on. He was on one of the other podcasts not that long ago. It might have been Crucible Radio. I can't remember if it was them or not. But they asked him, were you going to do it this Iron Banner? And it sounded like he was kind of hesitating, but he said yes, he's going to do it. He's definitely doing at least this next Iron Banner 2. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing his results and compare them to mine. The more people that put these numbers out there, the more people will know how real they are. But yeah,
that's good to know. That's good to know because I don't know. There's some people out there who have, less time than us, and for them to know that the RNG is solid all the way through. You could play one game and get what you were looking for. That happened to you last Iron Banner, right, Sharks? You played one game, you got a 335.
Literally the first game I got rewarded at 335, and then it was either the second or the fourth game. I mean the third or the fourth game, I got another 335. I think it was the fourth game. So I mean the drops were super fast, and I actually was wondering this Iron Banner if it was going to be the same, but I didn't get a drop until my third game this time. So yeah, it's been interesting.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you. Jez, will you be playing Iron Banner this time around?
I was actually kind of tempted because the only thing that looks good is the gauntlets, and that's what's being sold, but I'm not sure if I will. I'll find out probably Sunday if I actually play it.
What are the variables? Just whether or not you want to, or you're bored of something, Doom?
Pretty much. It all depends on what time I have that day, or what time I have this week in general, and how much I want to actually devote to getting angry at people in Iron Banner. Something like that.
Yeah. I had a hell of a time soloing Iron Banner this last time. Morse Code 93 in the chat says playing this Iron Banner solo has been the worst experience I've had in Destiny so far. Lays Summerstone, he tweeted out that he lost like 10 games in a row last night. And I mean, on the other side of that, there's 10 games that other people won, but I don't know. I think I don't know. I think that there's something in the water. I'm hoping to play it. Jez, Crimson Warlock, will you be playing Iron Banner this time around?
If I get time, I'm extremely busy this week playing the game of real life as well. So we'll see. I really want the gauntlets because it's like the last PlayStation 4 item that I'm missing. But we'll see if I can or not.
I don't know what it is, but every time Bife tweets out something that he has, I want it. And I didn't really give a crap about about those gauntlets when I first saw them. But just like that helmet, the Haliatus 2, he tweeted out a picture of his Warlock, and I was like, man, I need that helmet. And so I really hustled to get that helmet. And then he's like, oh, like look at my Warlock now, and he had those PlayStation gauntlets, and I'm like, oh, I want to have those. So I don't know if it just happens to be that I'm more receptive when he says that something's cool.
It's called fanboy.
Is that what it is?
Yep, I think so.
I do love Bife. He is a hoot. I'm excited to see what he does now that he is out of university. I can't believe that he got so much video making done and still and didn't fail. I don't know. I'm proud of him too. You know what though? I think I could say that I'm proud of him because I'm older than him. Like he's young enough to be my kid. Like I think he was born the year before I graduated high school. So, in some situation, he could have been my kid. But Craig is not my kid. Craig is not old enough to be my kid. For those just joining us right now, you got to listen to the beginning of the podcast to get that. Sorry. Yeah, I'm hoping to play. I'm hoping to play some Iron Banner. I don't have a whole lot of time. This weekend is Velvet has like these 5 days off, like the next 5 days off. So I imagine there will be a lot of hanging out with family, a lot of a lot of doing family things, which is really cool. And you know what? I'm really glad that Saladin didn't bring much that I was interested in. There's definitely some gear that he could have brought where I would have been like, look, it family, fine, let's do what you want to do. But yeah, I'm glad that I'm not. I don't feel like I'm in any hurry. Like I don't feel like I have to get all of my characters to 5, especially after the packages I got. I didn't really get anything good from any of those packages. The best stuff I got was dropped just after a game, and you know, with that, I can just take my highest level character, and if it's something I already have, you know, I've already got some 334 gauntlets. I can just pass that along to the next person down. Like Iron Banner is a great way of leveling up your alt characters just because once you have something for this one, if it's not this tier 12 or if it's not something that you need, move it right along. Like I feel really good about that. I really like the system that is in place for gaining momentum, for raising your light level. I will be curious to see when we all hit 335, or at least when the people who play actively enough to reach 335. I will let you all know when I reach 335 on all of my characters, and then I will judge the people who have not yet got there. Jez, have you gotten past 320 yet? Or you just haven't even played?
I think I logged in to see what my test weapons were.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
So no.
I am like full up on test weapons. Like I've got the last 3 weeks of test weapons on each of my characters.
I'm still waiting.
That much room?
Right. I've had to delete some stuff. I've had to fold them into other ones, and because it's a 1-to-1 ratio, it doesn't feel like such a loss.
So you don't delete stuff so you can accumulate a tier 12 build, but you delete stuff so you can pick up more test weapons you didn't do yet.
Well, it's easier to delete the weapons because really at any one point in time, all I ever need is one primary, one special, one heavy. Like I can't use more than that at one time.
Yeah.
And so like my DIS 47 with full auto and maxed stability, like that is my go-to. Like that is it. Like that is all I use unless there's a specific need for something else, and there very rarely is. I still enjoy auto rifles, and somehow I still have thousands and thousands and thousands of more auto rifle kills than I do scout rifles, which is really strange because I became a scout rifle guy not very long ago, or like quite a while ago.
You know what's messed up? It's the same way with me, Remy. I have so many auto rifle kills, it's unbelievable, and that's because of how strong they were early in the game. And like in Crucible, like Soros was the go-to.
Yeah.
This makes me laugh that you say this, that you play like that, because I can't do that. Now, especially, like I'll go into, I'll even do it in a Nightfall. Certain areas I'm playing and I'm sitting there thinking, well, I can blast people in the face with my hand cannon here because it's going to be close quarters stuff, and I'll start doing that. Next area, it's going to be, oh, well, this is long distance fighting, really. You don't really want to run in there. Oh, I'm going to pop on my scout rifle, I mean, it's possible to go in there with one type of gun, but I think it's a lot more entertaining to switch it up, even in certain matches. So to just say, oh, you only need one primary, one secondary, one heavy, that kind of blows my mind because I like to switch it up too much. I like to, try different things. I don't know. That just surprises me.
I just muted it so I could cough, and I unmuted it before I before I coughed. Sorry about that,
It
everyone.
sounded like you were playing a rift.
Oh, to me it sounded like he was coughing up a hairball.
Man, I was. The sickness is live in this house, and it's sad. And actually, I just had this really great bowl of tomato soup, which is the reason. Like I've sounded way crappy all day long, and this is the best I've sounded all day thanks to that bowl of soup. Uh, but but yeah, sorry about that, everyone. um, I actually, Sharks, I do enjoy switching it up, but I mean, you're forgetting that I've got like 100 plus guns in the vault that I haven't deleted. Like, like I realize that I have to whittle that down somehow. And so what this is doing is it's just making it a little bit faster. But the problem I have with the armor is that it's more ornate. Like there's, you know, I can't just use the same helmet for each of my characters like I can with a gun. So like even if I did take one of each type of gun, that's still only four, you know, like if I want one helmet for each of my guardians, that's nine. That's nine of just the helmet. So like it's a little bit more me trying to just save the cool stuff, and my vault is like totally filled with marks and cloaks. Like it's totally filled with marks and cloaks, just because some of them are very special. Like they look cool, or they have really great flavor text. Um, so I don't know. I wanted to say this before I forgot. We were talking about tier 12 gear, and Hegemony in the chat says the only tiers I have are from playing Crucible, and I think that's a really great pun. Nicely done, Hegemony. Um, he also says that he's finishing older games, and Iron Banner made him hate Destiny. That really seems to be the takeaway. That really seems to be the takeaway. A lot of people are pissed off about this skill-based matchmaking, and I'm not, and I'm certain that half of them don't even know what they're talking about. But they definitely feel a difference in Crucible, and I don't know. I I don't like being on the losing team, especially when my score is higher than the other team's lowest player. Like all matchmaking had to do was swap me and the other player out, and I would have won that match. I feel like it's so out of my hands. But the smaller the teams get, the more it relies on me to be Rambo, and I'm not that player either. So I don't know. I will bring my Iron Banner anecdotes to the podcast next week, and I invite you all to do the same. I'd love to know what everybody who's listening right now, like if you're going to go into Iron Banner, send me an email, send us an email, and we'll discuss it. Guardian One feedback at guardian1.net. And we will see you next week. Sorry, I had to do it.
Do it every time.
Right.
Issues, dude. You seriously have issues.
Right. You know what?
You know what you should. No, here's what you should do, Remy. Is you do it and then you mute yourself, and then you can still say it, but nobody has to hear it.
We need to look up YouTube analytics and see how many people stop watching our show right after he says it.
Right. Right.
No, but you know what? Maybe people come for it.
Split.
It's just like watching The Big Bang Theory, and he turns around and Penny, Penny, Penny. He's got to do it too.
Man. So send us an email. I'd love to know what your experiences are. Where were we? Oh yeah, finishing up Iron Banner talk. All right. So why don't we get to some news with Agrios? What do you got for us, Agrios?
All right, so this week we saw another ride-along happen. This week it was the Crucible map ride-along. World artists Mick Buckmiller, Cooley Callahan, and Adam Williams joined Deej to give us a tour of some of the Crucible. And they showed early images of Crucible maps, including Twilight Gap, and discussed this at some length, from the creative standpoints to the actual, how it affects play. I only got a chance to, I was very busy and only had a chance to actually read some overviews, so I haven't actually watched it myself. But I look forward to. It sounds like very much, what we've seen the past couple weeks, and I've enjoyed all those. So I look forward to actually watching it. Did any of you guys have a chance to actually watch it?
Gray, did you watch it?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Sharks, did you watch it?
Yep, I watched it. It was awesome.
Jez, did you watch it?
I seen the thumbnail. No, I didn't have time.
Crimson Warlock, did you watch it?
I watched some of it. I was busy at work while it was going on, so off and on I was watching it.
Got it. My son is like this. He sets his pooping schedule to when Bungie is streaming, and it's like every single week. I get about the first 25 minutes in, and then there's catastrophe. And this week was no different. I'm really looking forward to it. Agrios, why don't you give us the overview? Did you have that ready for people to listen to? Or did you just read it and moved on with your life?
No, I just read about it like this morning and moved on with my life. It wasn't, I mean, what I read wasn't anything to like really necessarily newsworthy points, but, it sounded like an interesting discussion about, like in the past few weeks, how we've connected. Like, it's interesting to see the faces behind things, like who made certain decisions, how certain things came to be, connecting the, beginning creative step to play.
I'll give you an overview of it, because I think that it was actually a really interesting stream as far as, like you guys are saying, these past streams, it's been, well, why did we do this? Why did we do that? This actually wasn't like that so much. It was, we have groups that go in and make all these different things for these maps, and we play test them and we try them out. And basically what it sounds like is Lars comes in there and says, oh yeah, that's really awesome, but you guys need to do something about this, and you guys need to do something about that. And then go back, they add this stuff, they go back and they play it again, tons and tons of hours. And it's not just the creators of those maps that are doing it either. Everybody knows that there are playtesters out there in-house, but there are also playtesters that play at home, whether it be friends or family and whatnot. And they go and they put hours and hours and hours into some of these maps, and they get the feedback on it. And this happens way before any of us have a chance to actually see these maps. And it's kind of funny, because a lot of people, they'll get a map and they'll sit there instantly and say, oh, this map sucks, because of this and that and everything else. And, Bungie's not putting any time and effort into doing these maps. Man, they totally are. I'm trying to think which map it was. I can't remember the name of the map offhand. But this, the one map, they were like, they had put more test hours into this one specific map than any other map ever has been in the game.
Yeah, it was called like Warehouse.
Yeah, they called it Warehouse. That's right. And I can't remember what it's called now. It's one of the main maps. Rusted Lands. That's right. Yeah. And it's just like, well, that kind of stuff is kind of bypassed by us, because we jump on and we find out we don't like something. But at the same time, these guys that are doing this, they're also listening to all the feedback that people are saying, whether it be on Twitter, on Reddit, or wherever else they're talking about it, and they change things. And not only did they go and necessarily change certain aspects of the game, they might take that particular map out. of rotations, which they have done in the past. And what I found funny about all of this, it was really cool to hear that they're doing all of that stuff. But then they talked about how they're removing for instance, this one map they took out because a lot of people complained about it. Well, why don't you guys just go in there and fix that? They didn't go into why they didn't fix things, but obviously it's a lot of coding. But I mean, they have done that with other maps in the past, like changing where B flags are and stuff like that. But I mean, a lot of the history on how they actually produce these maps and how many hours are put into it, and the changes they do. It's a really, really neat stream. I suggest anybody that, especially that's into PvP, that you want to see kind of get into the minds of these artists, how they do it. Definitely go out and check it out, and it kind of gives you an idea of what, if you really, really read into it, what they might be thinking and how they're going to be implementing more things in the future. But yeah, it was an awesome stream.
I'm glad that I got to watch what I was able to watch, because I was able to help you with your description. I I think that every map that I've played on, every single map that I've played on feels and looks amazing. Like the placement of everything feels so, it from a gameplay standpoint, it feels on purpose. It feels like they placed it there on purpose. But when you aren't looking at it from a where are the sight lines, I feel like it's natural. And I think that this is a something that's really difficult to do, especially when you look at other games, like playing other games, or like watching streams of people playing other games. Like like there's so much that just doesn't feel natural. And I think that it's really amazing what they've done, and that Cooley guy is awesome. I got to hang out with him for a small time at the Destiny Pub event, and he is really cool. He definitely has a very interesting point of view, and I don't know. All of these streams have been so enlightening. I really love that Bungie has taken the time to do this, despite what must be a tidal wave of bullshit that they have to deal with every week. And I wish that people would just find a frickin' hobby. Like every time Bungie tweets out like, oh, join us on Twitch where we'll be talking about whatever. And then the first 5 responses are always like, no. Like, what are you doing? You have Bungie on some kind of notification system for when they tweet out something, you reply to them no? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? You don't even there isn't not even any constructive criticism here. It's not like, well, I don't really care about multiplayer. Let me know when you get to strikes. I want to hear when the people for strikes. They just put no. Like, what is...
It's trolls. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it be a game, or talking about different consoles or whatever. You're always going to have trolls, and you just have to look past it. I give up on trolls. I get it. I get it when I play. And sometimes it bugs me, and I'm like, ooh, I want to respond, or ooh, that little shit just came up and teabagged me, and he's died like 8 times. That's the first time he's killed me, and he's teabagging me. But I'm like, no, don't do it. It's a troll. They're trying to get a reaction. In fact, okay, here, here's something that happened. So I went and at the beginning of the week, I went in and I did my PoE 41 for my treasure box, and you get match made, and a lot of the times, especially if it's something like that, I'm not going to go in and do voice chat, and nobody did in this instance anyways. You just go in there. I mean, I don't need these 2 other people there. I can sit there. I can do that by myself, blindfolded practically, but it's nice to go in there with other people. So you get match made with people, you start doing it. Instantly, I got in there. This guy turns around to me and he starts shooting me. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know, you trying to get my reaction or something. And then I was like, well, maybe he listens to the podcast and he wants to get, say hi or whatever else. And so I look at him, I wave, and just continues to shoot me. And I'm like, okay, whatever, you're a dork. Literally through the entire 41 PoE, all he did was shoot me. When we went outside, he shot me. In fact, and it was bugging me. I was saying to my wife, I was like, this asshole won't stop shooting me. She's all, why? And I go, I don't know. He's just trying to get some kind of reaction. I'm not even going to look at him. I don't shoot him back or anything like this. Well, he died. And I was like, screw you. You know what? I ran over to where he was and I was just shooting everything. I wasn't going to revive him because it was bugging the hell out of me. And then I turned around and I actually at one point because you go into the room waiting for the next round, I messaged him. I go, I hope you're having fun. And he responds to me, no, why? And I was like, seriously, But it just goes to prove it doesn't matter where you are, you're going to get trolls out there, and their whole thing is they want somebody to respond and don't play their game. Yeah,
Sorry.
Their game.
Your first mistake was looking at the public comments. Your second mistake was giving them attention.
I agree.
Totally.
All right. What were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about the stream, and then you started talking about the people who need to get a life, who tweet negative things at Bungie when they tweet things out immediately.
I didn't say they needed to get a life because I don't want them to aim that high. I just need them to go do something else. I just don't understand. Like why they need to, like does that make them feel better? Oh man, Bungie tweeted out like they're gonna go Twitch stream, and I told them no. Like I don't.
It does make them feel better because they just want attention. They're just because that's why they're the first couple comments too. That's why all of those first couple comments are no's, because they are all drama queens that want attention.
Man. But yeah, the streams have been so fantastic, and I actually am very interested in the chats when it goes to subscriber only, because the people who are subscribed, those people are actually interested in having a conversation, and they're not all just mega fanboys like me or Sharks, but their opinion is definitely constructive. I feel like when they turn on subscriber only chat that it moves slower because there's not just a bunch of jerks there, and I don't know. It's cool to see so many people from the community, so many different aspects of the community coming to this one place to watch this. And I love the backstory of all of this. Like I love watching the critical decisions that they made along the way that brought them to where they are. Like so many times on this show, I've talked about, I would have loved to have been there when this decision was made. And while this isn't the same thing as that, it gives a glimpse into that. Like, well, we couldn't do this because it looked too much like this, or we tried this out and that didn't work, so we went with this. Like, it's just hearing these stories is what you are seeing on those Twitch streams is a lot what it's like to talk to these people in real life. They are at least as interested in talking about it on Twitch as they are in real life. I always give them a way out. Like I always say, listen, I understand this is your job, and you can just tell me to go kick rocks whenever you're ready to stop talking about this, and then I tell them what I'm thinking, and then they're always interested in talking about it back. So I don't know. I love these streams, and I hope they continue to do them. I imagine that at some point they will have gone through all of the different aspects of it. And I wonder what they will do at that point. But
I don't know. I don't get the feeling that these guys, would ever actually run out of things to talk about. I mean, frankly, I mean, it feels like they give us a lot. I'm not saying they don't give us a lot with this next comment, but I mean, if you actually look at the amount of content they've actually discussed in the streams, it's minuscule compared to all the different things you could possibly talk about in Destiny.
Yeah, that's true. And we don't work there, and we have all kinds of stuff to talk about. Like we haven't even put in, all of the time that they have. So yeah. I can't find this number. Everybody in the chat is talking about this number. Maynard says my number on Xbox is 88. That's a bummer. But I'm looking for this. And what does this number represent?
If you go into the you put your name in, and then you
check.
go to stats menu.
Okay, stats menu, is that
click on and then you click on Crucible.
Okay, Crucible.
And it will bring up all three characters, and then you got to click on your character.
Okay.
And under performance, it's at the bottom of performance. Under
performance. Was it like all the way at the bottom?
No, it should be at the top. I mean, on mine, it's on the top. So I'm assuming it's probably going to be the same on that one too.
All the way at the top. I don't see anything that says performance.
Should say performance, then we'll have stat, TTR score, kills, skill death.
Playlist, totals. Oh, performance.
And then the last one should be combat rating, which is the number they're talking about.
Okay, combat rating. There it is. 74. I have a 74. That doesn't sound very good.
Yeah, but it will be different for each character.
74, 77, and 89. That's not good, huh? Well, top 50%. All right, so, okay, K plus AD, that's kills and assists over deaths, right?
Yep.
Top 3%, kills and assists over death. Top 2% in kills and assists over death. Man, there's so much interesting information here. I'm gonna have to check this out further. I've only ever gone here for one or two things, but this looks like really, really excellent information. You could probably get pretty deep into the into craziness if you spend too much time in there.
The best part that I found so far is that apparently my warlock hasn't even played 50 games in PvP.
Wow.
How many games?
So for you guys that are listening on a stream, it's that what they're doing is they're going to Destiny Tracker and looking up their Crucible ratings. So destinytracker.com.
Destinytracker.com.
Oh, this sounds weird. Apparently I've only played 6. That does not sound right at all.
Right, I'm certain that you've played more than 6 games with that character.
Make sure you refresh the screen, because it does a background load, and then you have to refresh the screen to have any new information from the last time you were on the site.
Still 6.
Okay, I wanted to talk about something, Agrios, right now before we lose too much time on this. So is it agreed that that rise of iron is accurate? Yes or no?
I believe it is accurate and real. If I'm going to go so much further, I would go so far as to agree with Jez's comment previously that this is actually staged by Bungie.
Oh yeah, interesting. But nobody from Bungie has come out and said that, right?
Nope.
Okay, so my initial reaction to the leak was that it could be legit. Like I said it in our personal chat, and then everybody kind of piled on me, like, "What kind of idiot are you?" And so everybody brought up some really good points. And so by the time the podcast showed up, I was thinking, you know what, you guys are all right, and I'm an idiot. And then after the podcast, like so many people are, Nolan North retweeted it. Retweeted that post, and
that was telling.
Right, and I feel like that's way telling. And then the consensus was that it was real. And then after I went back and looked at it, I mean, if it was fake, they did a really great job. Like the art is amazing, and it's not like there's not artists out there who could have produced that as a joke. You know, like this is what they wanted to do, but as something that appears to be real, like now that it appears to be real, I wanted to get each of your guys' opinions on this because to me, once it came out that it more than likely possibly was real, because why would Nolan North retweet that? Um, I feel like this is a great direction for Destiny to go. This is a great direction for Bungie to take this, because one of the things that so many people have said about Destiny is it's missing story. You know, there's not much story in there, and I know that they said that they wanted the story to be more focused on you and your guardian in this world, and I'm all about that, but I feel like that happens naturally. Like take for instance Halo. You play the part of this Master Chief, but it becomes you. Like certainly in the cutscenes, it's Master Chief and not you, but you playing through those engagements, that becomes you. And so when I see this Destiny Rise of Iron, and I even brought up that there wasn't these other three Guardians, this makes me think that what they're doing here is they are changing the focus. Instead of these three generic Guardians, they're changing the focus to an actual character in the game. And this makes me so excited because the idea of learning more about Saladin and more about the lore, I'm still going to be there. I'm still going to play through those missions, and I will still have my stake in how I feel about this world and the connections I've made with the friends and who I'll be playing this content with. All of those things will still be there, but the focus will be on this Saladin. Like this is what I'm getting from this, is that they're going more into a lore. And I don't know. I read so many different people talking about, well, maybe what we'll do is we will be playing through some kind of memories, or there will be some kind of time travel. And I don't think either of those is necessarily true. I think what we're looking at here in this poster is it's going to be what's happening right now. Saladin is going to have to lead some kind of charge to save the day. Like shit is getting hairy, and I don't know. As I'm looking at this background, it almost looks like he chopped that wall in half with that axe. Like it looks like this one side of the wall on the right hand side, right over his cloak. It looks like that's on fire from where his axe is on fire. And so yeah. So the idea about more story driven content, I really want to know more about Saladin, because I will still be there, and also I think it will be in this current setup. Gray, why don't we start with you? What do you think about this? Like, let's say that this is real, so let's say that this is an accurate picture of what the future is going to bring to Destiny. What does it mean to you, and how do you think they'll deliver it?
Yeah, I think one of the most telling things that leads me to think that this is probably real is that they didn't mention it in This Week at Bungie at all. Unlike the Raziel Azir piece where they put in at the end, something about we don't know anything what this leak is about or this information that came out. We're just as surprised as you guys. They went radio silence on this, and I think that's pretty telling on the fact that this is real. I'm hoping this was an early print because it is really cool, everything except the wolves. I think that the wolves didn't turn out as well as I think Bungie could with compared to their other marketing. And granted, it doesn't seem like animals have been their strong point in the game so far, but the wolves just seem a little off in the graphic itself. That was the only piece of it that I kind of thought they could have touched up, and maybe this is an early print that they're still working on for final release, probably at an E3 or something like that. as far as content goes, it was really neat listening to Guardian Radio earlier in the week and hearing Bife list off his 5 different scenarios on what this could be. Kind of building on what you said, if that's Saladin and he just used that axe or hammer, I've kind of heard it go both ways. It could be an axe, it could be a hammer, to smash through that wall. It could be the Iron Lords coming and actually trying to push out from the Cosmodrome to claim new land, which would be kind of cool. We might get to see a new location on Earth, which I think would be really neat. I'm leaning more towards thinking that we might be working with the Exo Stranger and doing a little time travel. So if I'm going to throw my chips in anywhere, I think that we're going to learn more about the Exo Stranger, which I'm kind of hopeful too, because I find that character very intriguing, and we know very little about that character. Either way, though, I think that the content's going to be great, and I hope that because this has kind of an Iron Lord / Iron Banner theme to it, I'm hoping that we get some new PvP content alongside the PvE content.
I kind of feel like that's also one of the hints here, because Saladin is PvP. Like he only shows up for one thing, and that's for this Iron Banner. And so I could definitely see that. I mean, we could be looking at a whole new game mode here, which would be really cool. And you know what? A lot of what you're saying made sense too. Hegemony in the chat says, I have security concerns if Saladin is breaking our defenses. And so, yeah, that's pretty funny, I think.
But the Cosmodrome isn't that well defended right now, right? I mean, there's Fallen crawling everywhere all over it, and I don't usually view the Cosmodrome as that safe of a location with the Hive presence and the Fallen presence there.
But he could have used a door. I think what we're looking at here is this is what's called a dramatic entrance. Any of the Fallen, like if he did chop this wall into pieces, I think that the Fallen would probably fall back. They're not stupid. Let's see, Sharks. Given, let's say that this is a real thing, this is a promotional ad for something that we will see in the future. What does this make you think, and how do you think they will deliver it?
What's it make me think? It's the same that it made me think last week when I saw it, thinking if it is real that I'm going to look badass because I love my Iron Banner gear. Other than that, as far as like what do I think this means? I mean, there's been so much speculation back and forth, and people have a lot of really interesting ideas. But if you put all these ideas into one, you kind of listen to the different things that quote unquote sources have said might be coming out. If I put that together, and let's say like the sources are even partially accurate, I think that it is present time, that we're not going to go back in time at all. I don't understand why anybody thinks that we're going to go back in time, because if you look at this, everybody said that is the wall. That's the wall that surrounds the Cosmodrome, and in fact, a lot of people think that it looks like certain area that we started at. So that means that wall has come down now, not in the past. If it's come down now, do you honestly think that Lord Saladin would go through the wall? No. Do I think that he is even capable of smashing that wall down with that big axe hammer or whatever the hell it is? No. Somebody has attacked the Cosmodrome, and it's probably the Fallen that are out there in the wild that we haven't dealt with. And, a lot of people have said, oh, well, there's a potential raid, and it's going to be a Fallen raid. If that is actually true, this would make even more sense. The Fallen are coming in to attack. Why is Saladin there? Well, Saladin's there because he's the dude that's super awesome in the Crucible. What do we have the Crucible for? What do we have Iron Banner for? It's to train the Guardians to fight the major fight, the big war. And he is also there to protect the last city. You've got Shaxx, you've got Cade, you've got all these big name people, but the real go-to guy as far as us fighting is Saladin. So why is he there? Well, he's leading us as Guardians into this big fight against this big threat that's just attacked us at home. And that's kind of scary. So you don't just send out the Guardians to go and do something in a far off place. They're coming and hurting us, so we better go out there and do something about it. Why are the wolves there? The wolves are there because that's everything surrounding Iron Banner. It's always been about the wolves. If you look at flavor text in some of the gear that's out there, it kind of implies that everything is out there and it's wolves. So this is bringing that whole thing to life. A lot of people have talked about, oh well, why is he holding that? Is it quote unquote Yolder's hammer? Is it just a new type of hammer? I mean, a new axe, a new weapon that we might be wielding? Is it a new exotic?
Ooh, what if it's the new relic?
And that's one of the big things is people are saying it's the new relic, and that's what you're going to be using in this new raid.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
So as I'm looking at this, my eyes are drawn to a circle behind Saladin, like starting right where his helmet is, right across from where his shoulders are. There appears to be like these reaching pieces of rubble, and then all around, like right underneath this axe, it's rounded right here, and the other side is obscured by this cloak he's wearing. Titan cloaks would be awesome, by the way. So this leads me to believe that maybe there is time travel involved. Like this, what this looks like to me is there's like some kind of warp gate opening here, or some kind of, maybe the Vex had something to do with it.
I mean, it's possible, but I mean the thing is even if it's not time travel or if it is time travel, the one thing I was actually talking with some of our G1 crew this week about this. Back in the original demos that Bungie were playing for all of us, one of the comments, and this is what pissed off a lot of people because it never came to be, but one of the comments was, do you guys see all that land out there? You can go out and you can explore this. Well, maybe this DLC is them finally implementing that, where we can go out into the world, out there past the Cosmodrome, walk around and do stuff. And in this case, it's going to be, attacking. The other thing is, a lot of people, they were questioning whether this was real or not. One of the main things that a lot of people overlooked is the little emblem that is right under the Rise of Iron. If we go back and we look at all of the DLC packs that were released, they all had that. Why would some random person go and make a picture and then say, oh, this is new content, and then put that, made up this little sign?
Because if you're going to try to do a hoax that's good, you're going to go back and examine everything that Bungie's released officially.
No, but wait a minute. They didn't do it for the Taken King. The Taken King didn't have that, but DLCs, so you could have gotten away with not putting that.
Well, the Taken King had the Taken King logo.
Prior DLCs, so if you went and looked at the House of Wolves or the Dark Below DLCs and you were trying to make a fake DLC, you would mimic those.
Yeah. I know, but I mean, I originally thought that it's probably real. I didn't necessarily think that everything that everybody was talking about it, as far as what might be coming with it, that part I was like, this is all just speculation. Now, a week later, there's a lot of information out there that kind of makes me lean towards certain things, but I definitely think it's real. And as you guys were saying about, Bungie, Ghost was like, Bungie, they were quiet about it and they didn't say anything about it. Yeah, I thought that was really fishy, when they were talking about stuff, because this is how Bungie has always been with stuff, is they go dead quiet. So, I kind of agree with that too. It just kind of shows more that it is probably real. And then, of course, you get big name people, tweeting out the next day, kind kind of points fingers at, yeah, this is what we're going to see at E3. But I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. I'm excited.
Hegemony says also Saladin has done this before, and that made me laugh so hard. Thank you for that, Hegemony. Agrios, the image is real. This is a thing. What does this say to you, and how are they delivering it?
I think the image is real. Before we even had this image, I was leaning toward time travel going to happen. So I kind of feel like this is going back in time. Now, I think an interesting angle to this is what does the Crucible do? It trains us to fight other Guardians, and Guardians don't really fight other Guardians now, except in the Crucible. So it might even be considered a bit of an oddity. And I know there's some variety of details with Shaxx and Saladin having a falling out over opinions on these sorts of things and stuff like that. And I know when the Iron Lords first rose up, it was during a time of a lot of infighting between different factions of Guardians and things. So, continuing the tradition to train Guardians to fight other Guardians would be pretty prudent if at some point in time you knew Guardians were going to come back in time and interact with you during a time when Guardians were fighting other Guardians.
That's awesome and crazy.
I think that the Wolves being included, I think that was more or less artistic license. I think we mentioned before that, we never really saw too much promotional materials that didn't center around the Fire team. And I think they didn't want to distract from the importance of the main character being presented here, but didn't want to leave out that Fire team symbolism. And that's why we have 3 wolves around him to symbolize the Fire team supporting him.
Right. I was just going to say that. It would be so cool to have a mission where there was 4 Guardians, where there was the 3 of us, and then here's Saladin as an NPC. Like, that would be so cool. Something that's definitely missing from Destiny. Was that it, Agrios?
Yeah, that's it. Everybody else already touched on a lot of the things that I would agree with, a lot of things said by everyone else. And I want to take this opportunity to say I think it's real for a whole variety of reasons. I mean, Nolan North retweeting it and various things like that is very well done. But also Jason Schreier from Kotaku has verified it through 2 of his independent sources. And to date, he's never really been wrong in the long term about anything. I mean, he's made minor issues and corrected them within hours of printing them. But as far as his long-term projection of this is fact, what's going to happen in Destiny, he's been spot on. And additionally, for some reason, he gets a lot of guff, and Kotaku takes a lot of crap over a lot of the stuff. But I feel like he gives credit where credit's due. He admittedly loves Reddit and attends there all the time and gets a lot of his information there and states when he does. But he always adds to it. He always goes and digs deeper, and he has solid sources within Bungie. He's never said this is real and it's not ended up being real.
Got it.
It's more to do with the fact that a lot of the stuff that we see, we don't go to Kotaku and see all the stuff he posts, but the stuff that really we see are leaks. And most of the gaming community think reporting on leaks is bad.
Really? I don't think so. I think it's news. It's up to people whether they want to see it or not. I mean, if the gaming community leaks are bad,
they don't blow up. I think Jez is talking about when you say gaming community, you're talking about the industry, not the fans.
Oh no, I'm talking about the fans giving him a whole lot of guff for no good reason.
Fans don't like leaks because they feel like it's more of it's like gossip, like rumors and speculation. Like, why would you report on that? Do some real journalism. When it actually is journalism.
So what do you think about this, Jez? What are your thoughts on this?
I'm 90% sure it's real. And judging by the destruction, I would say, obviously, it's not an entrant, it's a breach. So I would say someone drove a really large rounded ship. I don't know what race does rounded ships, but yeah. Looks like a rounded ship went through that wall.
Oh, okay.
I agree wholeheartedly.
So what you're saying is we got breached, and then just Saladin is out here on the outside of the wall waiting for people to show up so he can kick their ass?
That or what possibly, like, this is super off the wall just because I just thought up when I was looking at this. What if it was the Iron Lords or the Iron Wolves, and that's what he's looking for? I mean, what other reason would we send Saladin?
Interesting.
That's something else I didn't mention. You had said you thought maybe he had hacked through the wall with his axe, and I didn't really respond to that. But I don't think he went through it, because if you think about how thick and tall and how many stories the Cosmodrome wall is, a person would spend, like an eternity to create a hole that big through the Cosmodrome
It'd be
wall.
faster to walk through the tunnels.
Right, walk through a door.
So, in being that I agree with the whole time travel premise, I actually think we're going to travel back to the time after the crap went down with the Traveler and stuff, and the Fallen come in to take the Cosmodrome, and we're actually going back to when the Fallen move over and take the Cosmodrome originally.
Here, let's play with your idea that it's time travel. That's not breaching the wall. What happened is the Vex put a time gate there, and the time gate went awry and teleported the entire part of the wall into the past. There we go.
I like it. Crimson Warlock, we gotta wrap this up quick. What are your thoughts on this? Let's say it's real. What do you think about this?
Assuming it's real, I was actually thinking myself, like, this might be the first time we see an NPC fight by our side. Like, seeing him with the axe, he's obviously ready to take care of some stuff, to throw down and do what he needs to do. So I really do hope we get to kind of see these legendary guardians in action instead of just as an NPC selling us wares that we might or might like or might not like. So I'm excited to see that. I also do hope that, just the story is just as well told as the Taken King story was, because honestly, for me right now, Destiny isn't really giving me what I want out of that, and it's an epic story. I've played all the epic story so far, and I'm waiting for more. So I'm really excited for E3, whether this is real or we'll hear something new.
I like it. All right, Agrios, back to you.
Back to me for the news. So, moving along, we talked about the Iron Banner earlier. That was made possible by a hotfix they dropped in the middle of the week, correcting the rocket glitch, as well as a unknown infinite super glitch. They won't even tell us which class could have been enjoying wrecking things with an infinite super, but they corrected it already.
Bubbles? Hopefully, it was Titans with their bubbles.
I don't think that's what it was, because they said that this was before people in the wild even figured out what it was. Apparently, a Guardian figured it out and kept it secret and informed Bungie, and Bungie was able to patch it before it became common knowledge.
I was just kidding, because this has been in the game since the beginning of the game.
Right. Well, I didn't know if you read through the weekly update and knew that they told us that this was a secret infinite glitch. But so yeah, in secret they managed to patch that, and they told us live when the Crucible ride along went live. So did the hotfix, and people were able to immediately jump right into the Iron Banner. Now it gives an end time for the Iron Banner as reset this week. So does that mean it's not going to end an hour earlier like certain other Iron Banners have?
Iron Banner has not been ending an hour early for a long time.
Well, you could keep playing, but I thought Lord Saladin stopped selling stuff an hour before changeover.
All the way up to changeover. It's been like that for months.
Oh, I just never had to go see him at that point in time. I always took care of it ahead of time because I thought it was still that way. Well, how about that? Moving on. So we go on to the Elder Champions, the Challenge of Elders scores this week. But what's the point, really? They still do the infinite super bubble thing, so it's just people who want to spend a retarded amount of time in there doing this super thing, and it's kind of completely ruined by their own point system. Kind of completely ruined the point of competing for a score based upon that week's scorecard.
Can you tell it's catching on?
Right.
Like, what do you guys think?
Want to give this a try? I still want to give this a try. Yeah, you, me, Sharks. What's that?
I don't. Why would you want to do that? Just sit there for hours for no reason.
Here's what I'm thinking. Okay, I want to know how long it would take us to get to like I want to complete it on one card. So like I want to see or at least I want to see how long it takes to get how many points, because I'm curious to know how long these people are actually spending time in there.
All you have to do is work out how many points you get for a super, and that will tell you how long.
How many points you get for making orbs? Because that's essentially what they're getting.
Yeah, I kind of want to try to get a couple people from my clan to help me do this for an entire day and get up to 1 million, just to show how ridiculous it is.
Right? Yeah, but you have to realize something is they're doing it for a long time, because that's why they don't have 3 people in there. They have 5 people. Do you think that it's only a couple hours? I guarantee it's hours and hours and hours and hours to get these points.
These people are doing it an entire day.
That's why I said a day.
So Maynard James in the chat said that he tried it and he's looking at 12 hours or more. I also was look at that second place team. 3 dedicated people came up just 2,000 points short of being in first place. I bet they were a little salty because of that.
Definitely.
I'm salty. I was salty last week when we talked about it, and I'm salty this week. I think I agree with Datto and anybody else out there that said that this is ridiculous. This is cheesing at its best as far as trying to quote unquote win high score. Bungie, if you're listening, stop posting it, because what it's doing is just pissing people off, watching how people are just going out there and abusing it. This is not showing their skill. You guys, this week, a lot of the Guardian 1 guys put a thing out there. Go and beat my high score in COE, and that was, I don't remember how many points it was. 30,000 points or 40,000 points or whatever it was. But I got those points by going in there and soloing COE during one of the weeks. It's like, that's something for people to strive for, to do it and get points and doing it properly. But just going in there and wasting time to get points, it just becomes pointless. And I literally got to that point. I saw that there were 5 people there. I saw it was a big number, and I was like, yep, I'm not even going to look at those names. I'm not going to give those people credit, because that's a bunch of BS.
Yeah, I think Bungie should have addressed it. They should have said, due to, the people exploiting the point system, we're no longer going to, host this portion of the Bungie Weekly Update. Or just don't comment at all. Just don't show it at all. Because, like I said, like Shark said, it's annoying. It's frustrating. Like, I look at it and it makes me feel like, well, if I'm not interested in getting a new weapon or armor piece that Varix is going to give me, what's the point? There's no point. I mean, between friends, I suppose, I can, like Shark said, like, beat my high score this week. But as far as people going out there with skill and trying to, make a name for themselves, become legend, if you will, that's made impossible by this. And for Bungie not to verbally address it, let alone remove the point scoring for orbs so that it's fixed, it blows my mind.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking Bungie to do. Bungie, remove the points for orbs. I think that's the simplest fix. There'd still be a challenge in the game.
Right, because then what you'd have is instead of, and you're totally right, those 3 people are so salty. They were probably like, oh, you know what, we are good. There's no way anybody got higher than us here. And it was 2,000 points away. That's not very many orbs away.
But the thing is you're not going to be able to just remove the points for orbs, because super kills, when they have super week, you have to have your points, and then these people will just do it then. So it just comes down to, they just got to stop promoting the points, because
Sharks, you can still have bonus points for a super kill.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you kill something, you lose that ad, and that's a resource that's going to go away eventually. You can't keep farming it because you're going to run out of ads.
But wait a minute. Now you're saying that if you're a defensive super, you don't get points for it, and that's something that Bungie has been trying to changed for a long time. They want everybody
this
to
is a
use
team
those.
activity. You do get points for it because you make orbs so that everybody else can score the points, and then you get
But that goes back to what I'm saying. So then you can't get rid of it for Super Week, because then people are just going to go in there and do it during Super Week.
Point for the orbs, though, is what I'm saying. You can they can make orbs. They can shoot people to get the assist points. Then their two friends with the non-defensive supers can get their orbs and kill things with the supers. And as a team, you get a really high score.
Well,
Right,
what they need to do is really just make the time delay for Varix the penalty. Go to a cap, and once you hit that cap, you lose all of your points for that entire round. Your points just go back to what you had the previous round to.
Hegemony says that he checked their stats and they played for 9 hours. All Titans, go figure.
Yeah, I think that
give
Crimson's
the
onto
encounter
something.
give the encounter a 30-minute timer, and after 30 minutes, you lose your entire score for that round.
I don't like that because it could penalize people who just tend to be slower, maybe not quite as good of players.
Well,
they could hit
but are you really going to do a boss for 30 minutes?
You're not going to be doing it for that long. I go in there and I solo it, and you can solo around in.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm saying the round, not the entire challenge, but just that particular round. If you're in that round for longer than 30 minutes, you just lose all of your score.
All right, so we got 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
What else you got, Agrios?
You know what? There wasn't very much good news this week. Frankly, our discussion was more important than any of the other news out there. I'd say go check out the movie of the weeks. The movie of the week was very well done this week, and check out the runner-ups. But other than that, we've talked about everything important in the news.
Sweet. All right, then I guess all that is left, it's shout-outs, starting with you, Grey Ghost.
Oh, shout out. So my shout out this week is going to be actually to my dad. So he's from Washington State, and he did a long travel out here to Iowa, and he's going to join us to this trip to Indy. So really glad that he made it out, and we get to spend some time because I don't get to see him very often anymore.
Excellent. Sharks.
My shout out is to Mikey Willoughby. I was soloing the Nightfall, and I got to the Bash Brothers. Obviously, this was last week, and I was sitting there thinking this is gonna suck doing this by myself. And he happened to jump in my game, and of course, having multiple people there, we kicked butt. So shout out to him and anybody else that anyone wants to jump in my game. You always feel free to do it.
Excellent. You kick ass. Agrios.
All right. Well, I talked about Jason Schreier before. I was going to give him a shout out because I was kind of salty about people giving an active contributing member of our community a good time, but let's a hard time. But let's give a more positive, actual shout out. Let's shout out to Mark Turcott and my favorite backseat fire team member, Lucy.
Awesome. Back team fire. Backseat
fire team member.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Jez.
Shout out to Leopard Stealth and Dado for Hodor.
Excellent. Crimson Warlock.
My shout out this week is actually to my wonderful wife, who is doing her best to help our financial situation, and by doing that, I will eventually get a new setup a lot sooner than I thought. And she's been working really hard doing a new in-home business, so shout out to her for being awesome and wanting to help our family situation.
Excellent. As you could probably guess, my shout out is to my daughter Lucy. Today is her 4th birthday, and she's just so special and so wonderful and so full of life. And as a backseat fire team member, I could not ask for a better one. She's constantly giving me praise for taking down the bad guys. She's constantly giving my fire team praise for doing a good job. Whether or not she actually knows what's going on exactly. Oftentimes I'll lose a Crucible match and she'll say, "Oh, good job, Daddy." And I
She
appreciate
gets sad
that.
when people kill you in the Crucible.
Right, right. And she consoles me. She says, "It's all right, Daddy."
Yeah.
So yes, shout out to you, Lucy. I love you very much, and I appreciate the part you're playing in my life. Very special little girl. Very happy birthday to you. And that wraps up episode 85. Next week, we will be talking about our favorite concept pieces of Destiny. If you have a favorite concept piece, please send it to me at feedback@guardian1.net. And I would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.